Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the most exciting council committee meeting for tonight. Public Works, starting at 6:30. Joining me is Brian Travis and Sheila Vaquero. Any comments, suggestions, and petitions from residents in attendance that's not on the agenda? You had your time already, Ms. Carroll, but yes, ma'am.
Very briefly, I would like, Ann Carroll, 506 South Franklin Street. I would like to ask this committee and indeed all of Borough Council to please make it a point to go visit your properties. Public Works property is in my ward, where I live. Borough Hall, obviously, wastewater treatment plants, et cetera, parks, parking lots, all of those. They're not always being kept in very good maintenance. And I'm offended on multiple times. And as I said, I go take my walks and I pick up trash that is not my trash, but it is the Public Works trash. And I understand Public Works is a trashy place, but we live in that neighborhood. It is our neighbor. So, and I notice here at Borough Hall, there are weeds constantly through the summer at the flagpole. That's unacceptable. Our growers market lot, oh my Lord, it's unacceptable. If we want to attract visitors to the borough, then all of our properties, they have our sign on them, should look like we want people to maintain their properties. So I'll keep picking up trash, but I will keep talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Totally agree with a lot of your comments. Anyone else have anything? Daryl? Okay, good. All right. Let's move on to discussion items. The borough engineer and traffic engineer.
Good evening. Nathan Klein with Pannoni. Brian, nice to meet you. I don't think I've met you yet. Sheila, good to see you again. I'm the borough engineer. I'm not the traffic engineer. I think she'll be here next month. I just wanted to highlight a few projects that we've got in the queue for 2024, just to kind of bring to your attention. I believe in part of your packet, our engineer's report is attached. We typically meet monthly with the borough team to kind of keep these projects moving, but we're tackling some of the capital projects as well as helping out on the land development projects such as 611 South Niels there. So, but the good news is I'm talking about $1.2 million worth of grants the borough received over the past few months. Really going to 3 projects that we've started on right now. We've got the Public Works site there on Goose Creek, where we're looking to install some BMPs, some best management practices for stormwater. So we're getting that coordinated. It's a multiple step process. Big picture, the goal would be to do design and any permitting here in 24, get bids out in the fall, budget, construct in 25. That'll all fall in line with the grant agencies. First step's getting all the grants coordinated, all the administrative, and we're working with Will and his team on that. Second project, Taylor Run. That is essentially behind where the new orthodontist office is on the west side of town. As that project came in as a land development, again, kind of had some foresight. We've negotiated easements with the property owners. So we have the ability to go in there. Again, we've got about 650,000, I think, in 2 different grants to go in there and redo that stream channel behind that site and try and improve that area. Again, meets our PRP MS4 credit requirements, hits a lot of marks for the borough. That project's probably going to be a little bit longer lead time, more complicated permit wise because we're working in a stream, but we're going to continue trying to move that project forward here in 24. The last one, which is going to be an interesting one, is the Westchester Racket Center that we're calling up on Hoops Park. I know Keith is here tonight, but again, we've got 2 different grants for that. Met with Keith and the guys, I believe a couple of weeks ago, again, start rolling that one forward, but take that kind of tennis complex up at the park, rehab it, enhance it, add some pickleball features, and try and make that a real nice feature for that park. So those are the cool projects I like to work on when we're talking about money from the state. So really exciting stuff. Not going to have really great month-to-month updates, but again, the goal would be to get to a point where we're putting these out to public bid here in the fall so that we can, potentially construct at least 2 of these in 25. So I'm happy to answer any questions on these things or anything else on the agenda, or on my summary that was provided.
Have
No.
anything at all? The
Already
rain
has.
garden, the rain garden down at Greenfield,
Okay.
you guys worked on that?
Yes.
It's working phenomenal,
Oh, okay. I was waiting for that to go a different way.
but
There we go.
there's mud in the street right now.
But
I
it's
think,
like-
I think it overflowed.
Okay.
And the drain could have silt in the bottom of it. I don't know. But it worked phenomenal, like I said, but it's starting to overflow now into the street. So we have mud
Okay.
in the streets. Appreciate you taking a look.
Yeah,
at
we'll
that.
take to talk to the guys and make sure
Yeah.
if there's any modifications.
Yeah,
that need
because
to be
the
made.
flowers themselves now, well, they're bushes and stuff. They're brown from mud.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd hate to lose all those bushes, because of the,
I want to make sure at least it's
mud.
functioning properly. So when
Yeah.
the, when the snow melts, the rain's in and out. So
Yeah.
we'll take a look.
Good job, thanks.
Yep. Yep. Good. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Public Works, Mr. Edwards.
Don Edwards, Public Works Director. Good evening. During this past month, we responded to 2 snowstorms. Today was our third. There were no major issues. We prepared a draft list of roads to be repaved as part of our 2024 paving project. The proposed roads are based on our 2023 road assessment. We should receive our liquid fuels money around May or June, so we have some time to finalize. We had 2 longtime employees retire. We've already filled the position for the retired mechanic. We're in a position to lease police vehicles, which should be further discussed later in the meeting. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
The leak at Bicentennial Garage over the chocolate factory. How are we coming along with that? This is a really good test. If they fixed it, this is a really good test through the melt out.
Yeah.
Have we addressed it and fixed everything that's there?
We haven't fixed it yet. It's been slow. They've been having a hard time finding a matching brick color, and it's really gone on too long. We let them know that this week. And I've asked for a tentative schedule. So that's where we are. It's slow, but I expect it to be finished in the next month or so.
And the last thing is the illicit discharge from Gay Street.
Yes.
Have we settled that out with the property owner and our legal team?
I'm going to defer to Sean on that one.
Legal counsel suggested we have an executive session to discuss that matter so that council can make a decision on what it wants to do. But there has been progress, but I don't want to go over that in a public meeting. Happy to talk with anybody after the meeting about where we're at.
That's fine. It's one of those points on the illicit discharge. I just wanted to see if we move forward with that. So,
Yeah, we're getting there.
council members, anything? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first time, the public, the Director of Wastewater Treatment, Mr. Sean Mitchell.
Good evening, Sean Mitchell, wastewater director. For Taylor Run, they drained the tertiary filter system, removed all the sediment from the bottom of the tank, hosed the sludge off the median, and put it back online. They took down wet well trash pumps, cleaned the grit out of them, checked from the check valves, removed an inspection plate and inspected the impellers. Everything was fine with them. They modified the aluminum storage tank truck fill per the state inspectors to bring it up to code. They changed some piping, added new signage, and it's good for another 5 years till their inspection is done or up again. In January, they flowed 1.056 million gallons per day as an average. At Goose Creek, part of the restructuring, Ed Jamison, a 29-year employee, was moved up to superintendent. Mike Polito, an 18-year employee, was moved up to the maintenance foreman. And Rick Simons, a 10-year employee, was moved up to operator technician. A capital project was finished on probably the coldest day of the year. We had crews out with a contractor, they replaced 4 valves, 2 check valves and 2 gate valves at the Minor Street Pump Station. We bypassed pump for 10 hours that day. Everything has been installed. There will be pictures on the one, if Billy can go down. That's what we took out, 40-plus-year-old valves. The gates were actually falling off. They weren't valves anymore. Those were the guys out in the snow, after the snow, in the day. I think the average was like 12 degrees. But they did great. They did it. They got it done. There's your new valves. And we did come in under budget. We fixed the sump pump. We had an electrical box behind one of our buildings in the ground. We've had so much groundwater. The sump pump was fixed. We had a 200 horsepower motor short out. It's nothing uncommon once every couple years. It was taken out by our maintenance crew, and we had to bring a company in to laser align it. We had a small problem with a float at the Worthington Street Pump Station, and in January, our average flow at Goose Creek was 1.049 million gallons per day. Departmentally, I do have some year-end numbers, but before I get into that, the 2 wastewater plants, I believe, were one of 16 or 18 in the state that do sampling for SARS. They're calling it respiratory pathogens right at this time. CDC and the state extended us for testing till June of 27. That data can be publicly looked at on their website. It's on the attachment and online. It's a little too much for me to read off at this time. But we're happy to say that the numbers are going down, and it is a pretty interesting trend of seeing what it is just in the wastewater. Year-end numbers for treated sewage for Taylor Run was 292.73 million gallons. Excuse me. Goose Creek treated 325.7 million gallons for a total of 618 million gallons. Hauled sludge was 2,962,000 and change. Goose Creek was just shy of 6 million for a total of 8,961,600 gallons. Both plants, we've collected over 40,000 samples last year and analyzed over 55,000 samples just in our plants. That doesn't include what we sent out. We've drained, clean, inspected, and refilled 10 clarifiers, 3 aeration tanks, 21 RBC tanks. The grit tanks are taken down 16 times and cleaned. The final contact tanks, they're drained 78 times per year. We had 40-plus pumps, valves repaired, rebuilt by the in-house crews, and did over 100 oil changes in clarifiers, pumps, blowers, compressors, mixers, gear units. Taylor Run is now over 90% of transformation to LED lights in their plant. Goose Creek is 99.9% done. So no more fluorescents, all LEDs.
Mr. Travis?
I have no questions.
Oh, I do have one more thing. Just so you guys are aware, tomorrow night I will be at Finance to go over, we had a project from last year, the sewer, Taylor Run digester gas safety. It went to bid twice. The second time there was no bid, we negotiated. The price came back $189,555. We're going to ask that the council award that bid to Allen Myers. They're a low bid. The other one was for $223,100.
And what's that part called again? What we're doing?
It's the digester gas safety equipment. This has been a couple years that it's been in. The price has been huge. The big thing was the wages. That's what's just driving everything up.
Are our treatment amounts back to pre-COVID?
Yes. Yep.
That's good. Thank you. Ms. Vaquero?
Thank you for everything that you do. That's all. You do amazing work. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Cook wants to ask you a question.
How much capacity do we have left? What percentage would we be running now? Can we handle another 1,000 units in the borough without a problem?
Yes, we can handle that. Yep. The exact percentage, I don't want to say something and be wrong, but we do have plenty of capacity between both plants.
Yeah, I think Mr. Cook's talking about the Burger King site, which goes to you guys, and Mitch's Gym. Oh, and
That'll go to
also
Taylor.
Rubenstein goes to you guys, and then Mitch's Gym goes over to Taylor Run.
Correct.
So it's a split action, so it shouldn't be a problem. So, thank you. Thanks, Sean.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Korowski, Parks and Recreation.
Yes, Keith Krowski, Director of Parks and Rec. I'll touch on a couple of things on the monthly report. Nate kind of stole my thunder. The Hoops Park Racket Center Rehabilitation Project that is underway currently. We did receive 2 grants in the amount of $237,300, $137,000 from DCNR, $100,000 from DCED. As he mentioned, this year will be more so getting the grants lined up and design work being taking place, and hopefully get everything in place so we can get some numbers finalized so we can get that in the budget for the end of this year into 2025. And 2025 will make those courts look like they should look. It's been a while coming, but we knew it was going to be a big price tag, and we're very grateful that we got those grants. With that said, I wanted to touch base with the baseball field netting over at Hoops Park, Farley Field. Charlie Cooper, president of the Westchester Baseball League, is here to speak about that as well, and another topic later on the agenda. But the Building and Codes Department has approved their permit for the netting. The materials the Baseball League has, they are ready to go. They are ready to get this thing installed. As per the agreement with the borough and the league, again, no play is allowed to take place at the field until those provisions are met. If you have any questions for him directly, feel free to do so. But I believe everything is in place, barring any more significant weather like the day that persists throughout March and into April. I'll get to the Farley Field dugouts later in the other agenda item. One thing I did want to touch on base with, and it's kind of small, but fun at the same time. After 5 years, the borough, we are starting to run bus trips again here at the borough, which is pretty cool. People have been calling about it literally every day for the last 5 years. I think 2019 was the last trip we ran. Our first trip to Washington, D.C. is already sold out. It's not leaving until sometime in late April. So we have other ones planned throughout the year to kind of go back to things we were doing pre-COVID, and so far, so good. Any questions for me directly, not related to baseball-related issues?
2 questions.
Fire away.
How are we doing with the bat houses for
Bat House,
Subing?
they're here.
Oh, they're here.
They're here and ready to go.
There
We
you
got to
go.
put them up. We got 2 bat motels and a bat condo.
Great.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot the second question. That's really good.
We do though. I'm not kidding. We have 2 large
I know we were really excited about the bat houses. Yeah, but I don't remember the second question now because
Sorry.
you caught me off guard. Thank you.
You got
Mr. Travis, you have anything in your neighborhood?
Just one. You'd mentioned, I think, in the earlier part of the budget process that you were thinking about bringing the Thursday night family evenings back to downtown.
yes. I don't know if that's going to be possible this year. We want to see how the Gay Street closure goes, because obviously it would be on a Thursday night. One thing we are doing, and that's going to happen this year, is with inside of the Gay Street closure, there's called activation zones. They're kind of the areas that aren't really being utilized by the businesses in the downtown that we're going to be taking over at different times. We've already got several ideas planned. There's a Westchester Field Day we're looking at. We're looking at bringing in a mobile or portable mini golf course for a weekend. Things along those lines that would make the Gay Street closure even more relevant. Again, you wouldn't have these dead areas. I love the Swing and Summer Thursdays. I had been a part of them from 2004 until 2019. I would definitely like to see them back. I just don't know how feasible that is. I would definitely like to see it. And maybe it is a possibility where there is money in the budget for pop-up events that we could do 1 or 2 to see how they go this year. Just trying to coordinate those efforts with Public Works, with the Gay Street closure, police and everyone else. I mean, it would be part of a special event application that would most likely have to come back before the the Public Safety Committee, because it's an event that hasn't taken place in a number of years. We absolutely have the capability to do it. We know how to do it. We did them for many years. I would like to see him back. I'm just not sure if it's absolutely going to happen.
Thank you. Appreciate
Welcome.
that.
I do remember what I was going to ask you.
Yes, sir.
The tennis court and pickleball,
Yes.
is that a complete tear out and rebuild?
Yes.
Okay.
I
good.
mean, as much as humanly possible. There was initial discussions to try and save the fencing, which would have saved us like 40 grand. But if the labor intensive work that would have to be done because we would keep the fence poles would almost equal out the money we'd save. So we're going through that process right now currently. And one thing I didn't mention about that, the Friends of Hoops Park, Craig Steiner being the lead, they've been doing some work behind the scenes, working with the USTA about potentially looking at a third granting opportunity. I have a meeting with them, excuse me, it's either this Thursday or next Thursday to discuss that. If I'm not mistaken, that money is true grant funding. That would be, it's yours to use as long as you meet the specifications that we have. Now, it's not nearly as significant as the money we already have, but any money that's free we'll take.
Ms. Vaquero?
I wanted to discuss special event permitting for especially the larger events in our borough. Can we just go over what some of the stumbling blocks have been and what we're planning on doing to streamline things?
Absolutely, be happy to. And it's part of what we're going to be doing, I would say, probably at the March Public Safety Committee meeting. But right now, we are working, we created a flow chart that lists everything that needs to be done, from the applicant giving me the application to it being approved by council or by being approved by the police. It is a significant amount of work, a significant number of steps. There's a lot of eyes that got to be put on these. What we're looking to do is take that process, which is on paper right now, and make it digital. Nick Fink, who is our data analyst or data director, has been working for that. That is going to be done through our Brightly system, which is the same system currently that our that Building and Codes is using for permitting. It'll make it more of a real time as it goes through. It'll show everything that we're doing on paper, which is a tedious and drawn out task, because it's literally me taking that piece of paper, that same document, to every single person that needs to see it, or scan it and then get a copy back scanned. Was it John that looked at this, or Bob, or did Sally need to look at this? Then you got to start the process a little bit over. This is going to streamline everything. It's going to follow the same processes that are in place currently, but it will be done online in a real-time format that you as an applicant look at it and say, where do I stand? Oh, Keith, Parks and Rec has looked at it. There's the check mark. Police have checked it off. They'll be able to tell where their application stands along the process. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Is it going to be some hiccups along the way? Most likely. But when we have all the bugs worked out and this thing is up and rolling, it'll be much more advantageous to not only the applicant, but to the staff within the borough that have got to go through this process. A small event like a 5K or a block party, not much to it. The restaurant festival, Christmas parade, Chris Kindle Market, those are things that need to be reviewed and evaluated. And this process will make that a whole lot easier for everyone to get their eyes on it and not be like kind of, again, chasing around a single document. This will all be on a computer through a system that we can all have eyes on at the same time.
Yeah, I think we're about 85% of the way there. Keith's doing some more work with the reviewing the internal review people to make sure we understand what it is that they're looking at, so we can document that. Our plan is to take this through the Public Safety Committee next month, and there will be conditions under which council will have to approve some certain special events, and those are going to be ones wherever we change parking fees or wherever we close streets. So you will see a few more of those, like the Chris Kindle Mart, for example, and like he said, we're going to have this streamlined. Our next step is he's doing more work in this next week, and we're going over it again with John O'Brien at the bid. I think we already have that meeting scheduled, and then we should be ready for public safety in March.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, that's it. We're getting there. Trust me, I want to get there too, because it'll make my world a lot easier.
Can, can I just make a request, which is
Sure.
probably not even worth saying at this point, but can we standardize the parking, the way parking is dealt with for these larger scale special events in this system? Is that
Yes,
possible?
well, that'll be part of the questions we're asking back to council. What special event parking fees are used? Which ones are waived? What requires that to be enacted? When do we use the garages? When do we don't? That'll be part of the questions that come back to you guys in March. And then hopefully, I would say, after a little tweaking back and forth, March, April, maybe by May or June, we can get this thing up and rolling.
Very good. Thank you.
Is it possible to have an open-ended special events application?
How do you mean?
I'll explain. We're trying the Budweiser Clydesdales to come back to, for our celebration, this year, next year, or whatever. Anheuser-Busch is not very good at telling you exactly when the Clydesdales will be in a certain area. They'll give you a 2 weeks notice that they're coming in. Lots of times they come in for the Phillies, or they come in for like Oktoberfest or something like that. And I was talking to John O'Brien about it because it's been a few years since they've been here.
Yeah.
And they are as big a draw almost as the Christmas parade when they go around the borough. So if we can fill in almost all the important things for it, and when we know, Anheuser-Busch will tell us when they're coming, we could fill in the other details. And that's why I was asking, is it possible to have an open-ended, and the Clydesdales don't walk in the rain. They don't walk in the snow.
We had a camp
They
there
don't
one year,
walk
yeah.
in with leaves. It's the most amazing.
I remember.
They're extremely fussy horses, but so it could be canceled at any minute like they did last time to us. That's why I was asking about open-ended.
I mean, I don't want to speak for the other departments. I mean, again, the borough has held that event in the past. So we have the background knowledge to make it happen. It would be, I think, more of, if I'm not mistaken, we had to bring in other resources. We had to bring in other townships, police and so forth, canines. I know we're getting our own canine, but things of that nature that I think would be the most time critical. The events, again, that we have done in the past, we can duplicate. It's a matter of the resources. Again, I don't want to speak for police or public works, but yes, we can do it. The window from when they say, hey, we're going to be here, to when, like, how much leadway they give us, that would be kind of the determining factor.
Yeah, I would think it'd be 30 to 45 days that we would know.
Well, that would be back up to
Yeah.
again, the permits as they currently sit. If it's not submitted 60 days out from the event, it's a nix. We say no.
Right.
So it would be up to council to say, okay, on this occasion, we're willing to waive that. I think that's the same for any event that would
Yeah.
come through that would be under that same permit.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you. I mean, we'll be working with it through the bid as the weather's still cold to see what their plans are.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
It was a huge event, 5 consecutive years.
Yeah, that was really good. Thanks. All right, let's move on to our action items, and I'm going to tell a little story on A before we begin. It was the motion to recommend to order two hybrid police cars, pending financial approval. Every August is the best time to lease vehicles. This past year, we went to lease the police cars, and Ford said that they were not taking any applications to buy police cars this year in 2023, August. So a lot of communication back and forth on we need police cars, and Ford said, well, we're not making them in 23. So we had a small mini meeting with the police department, borough council member, myself, and administration, and we sat down with the chief of police and we tried to figure out exactly what he needed to move forward. So Ford decided that on February the 1st, they were going to open up the portal to order police cars. And then they closed the portal. So we placed a verbal order for 2 police cars. They will not be delivered until September, October, November. That's how far out it's going to be. because everybody else placed their orders and Ford's only going to make a limited amount of cars. The chief of police has been notified of what actually happened. And he actually needs 4 cars. We can only right now, because of the budgeting, do 2 cars, and he's going to plan on doing something in 2025 for the additional 2 cars. Mr. Metrick, did I cover that pretty well?
Yeah, I think that the action item before council is to place that order with the manufacturer because we have to verify the specifications and place it through Enterprise. So we need to determine the drivetrain and what we're looking at. We haven't done that yet.
Okay, so we haven't placed the order. Okay, so Mr. Edwards, when does Ford plan on closing the portal? I thought they closed the portal right away on the new cars.
I'm not sure what their plans are for this year.
Okay, all right. Mr. Travis?
Well, I thought the delivery date was earlier than October, September. I thought it was more like August, July, but I might have misread that.
Yeah, the Ford, they told us that, well, they told when we asked that the cars probably won't be available to the 3rd quarter. Yeah, that's how bad it is. So, and during that process, the chief of police, Chief Lee, has communicated with the borough manager that the additional 2 cars, as we matriculate through 24 into 25, he plans on asking for the other 2 cars because they won't be delivered until late 25. Ford does not want to be in the police car business anymore, but they said they're not interested in making police cars. But this is where it stands now. And then what the Mr. Edwards is going to ask for is 2 hybrid police vehicles, for us to agree to allow the police department to get them and then send them over to finance for approval. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any problems with it? Anybody? No?
No problems.
Okay.
One question, when we get them in October, let's just say they actually come in October, are they police cars at that point? Are they ready to go or they still need to be outfitted?
They'll be pretty close. I don't, you know what?
It's
I
just
don't
a
know.
question. It's
I
not,
really,
Yeah.
I really don't know, but what the chief of police said was that he thought that they would be at the outfitters at Lancaster, ready to go by that time.
okay.
So
but-
they could turn the key. And the reason why they also like Fords, which I didn't know, is they have the same key. So, so if we start switching to Dodges or GMCs and stuff like that, that throws off the maintenance guys down the plant and all that nonsense. So, so 3-0 to tell Mr. Edwards. to-
Yes, please.
Yes, we need to order
Thank you.
police vehicles.
Yes, please come up. Oh, it's Mayor. I didn't even see you back there. Hi, Mayor. We're going to be leasing the vehicles from Enterprise. Sorry, I didn't even know you were sitting back there. Sorry, Mayor. That's Mayor DeBaptiste.
I'll make a note of that. That won't be on the.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, thank you. Action item 4B, approve renovation of the dugouts at Hoops Park. And we have the president of Hoops Park here, Charlie.
I'll just give a little background before Charlie goes here quick, and it's part of my monthly report. The reason he's coming here is because the Rec Commission didn't meet with a quorum in December and January, and the work they'd like to get done is potentially, this spring with the netting system. So the Rec Commission did meet in November. They met with Charlie. He came and presented his ideas to the committee, or to the commission, excuse me. Everyone on the commission was in favor of the project. They just had some questions about the exact size and scope, colors, things of that nature. The Friends of Hoops Park were also at that meeting and said, hey, we're cool with this idea as well. We have no issues. So Charlie's coming back, and I have some more information to give to you guys to give you specifics.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you very much, Mr. Cooper. Good evening.
Charlie Cooper, Westchester Adult League Director. How you doing, Bernie?
Good
Nice
to,
meet
good to
Bernie.
see you.
Sheila. Old business first. Any questions regarding the netting?
No.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, I have questions. So
this is Mayor Di Baptiste.
yes, he knows me and I've met with him back in October, I think, about the netting. And you had a design that you gave us, and there was a couple of us there, and that you indicated that it wouldn't be a problem. At that time, September, October, when we met, you were going to go to housing, you were getting everything, and now here we are 4 months later. So I'm really disappointed that the schedule wasn't kept as talked about, you know, as you affirmed to me back in September and October that you even had people that were going to help you, and that, you know, November, meeting that target point of November wouldn't be hard to find. So I really would like to see this whole dugout discussion tabled until you actually continue to finalize this one commitment you made, which you haven't finalized yet. You haven't finalized this commitment that you made to us last year, which the team made to us last year, back in the spring of the year, saying that you would be able to do this by November. You blew past November, December, January, and it looks like you're getting ready to blow past February. So I don't know, but you haven't reached out to me. I've reached out to you a couple of times. And so I'm disappointed. And here you are coming before us again for your other requests when you haven't actually shown us the respect to complete this request. That's all. It's just disappointing.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Cooper.
To address her concerns, council requested engineering.
Use the mic, because the other one didn't use the mic and you could barely hear.
Charlie, tap it, see if it's working. It's working.
Yeah. Yeah, to address her concerns, can I take it off? Oh. To address her concerns regarding the netting, council and our agreement both requested engineering, as did building and codes. The engineer does not want the net up in the winter due to an ice load, potential safety issue at that point. Currently slated, the poles will go up in March. The netting will follow in April on a pulley system, which will come up and down every winter. That is why it's not done yet. But everything is on hand, poles are on hand, netting's on hand, everything's ready to go. At this point, we have our permit, and we're just waiting on a good day of weather because snow.
Yes, okay, thanks. You want to talk about the dugouts?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, the hammer that the borough has over the league, if that's a hammer, is that you can't play until everything's done.
Yes.
So, you know, we don't want to be in that same position that we were in last year where you guys had to run every place else to try to finish the league. But the weather permitting, you know, the poles are going to go up, and then the netting's going to go up with the pulleys as soon as possible. Great.
The onus is on us. It's in our agreement. We can't play without that.
Right.
We're well aware of what's at stake here.
There you go. Great.
Um,
I didn't want to call it a hammer, but that's it is what it is. What it is. Yeah. Do you want to tell us about the dugouts?
The dugouts were constructed 30 years ago. If you look at page 1, that's our current state. Pretty out of shape. They need replaced at this point. The one's leaning a little bit, and the roofs have been replaced a few times, but it's time to demolish and rebuild. The third base dugout will be the same size, 40 feet long, 10 feet deep. Dugout is also 40 feet long, 10 feet deep right now. It'll be 50 feet long and 12 feet deep under this plan. If we go down to page, that's what I just said there. Page 3 is then the design we have. That would be the first base dugout. The additional 10 feet we're looking to get is for a storage shed closer to the field. And then Ignore the netting in this picture. It's not accurate to our actual plan. But it'll be a gray rock face block. Leave it gray. We can paint it. Whatever you guys decide or council.
Charlie, is the storage portion of that first base dugout closer to home plate or closer to the foul pole?
Closer to that.
Okay.
It's
So you're looking from the field at the dugout right now. Got it.
Scroll up, Bill. I can show you a picture right there. See where that guy's walking? That's where that additional 10 feet would be. That's just to alleviate the trip back and forth from the existing shed. Each dugout will have a 2-foot gap on the back to, what's the word? Alleviate wind flow, keep the roof intact, and to also help with policing the enclosed dugout. You go to the next page. That's the back. That's what you'll see from Ashbridge Street. So they'll be able to see in. The shingle roof, and then block. Questions, concerns?
It'll look a lot better. Yeah, than what we have there. Have you gone through all the permitting on this stuff yet?
I'm ready to submit after this meeting.
Okay.
I've started permit. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my 4th step.
Oh,
Everything's-
okay.
By my counts created, it's.
Okay,
complete.
great.
Draw.
Mr. Travis, do you have any questions?
Now you answer my question about the building materials. Will it be a certain color?
Whatever you guys want. The block is gray.
Yeah. My concern about the block, if it's unpainted, right, graffiti,
Yeah,
if it's painted, you could always just paint over it the same color, keep the.
yeah.
paint
I
the can.
believe we've talked about, there's a special kind of paint you can paint it with that graffiti just washes off at that point. So.
Oh, there is, but you won't like it. Because it'll look like a dull matted finish. And it won't, it's almost better to paint it
Yeah.
and then paint it again. Because you could take the graffiti off in 3 minutes and by painting over it. I wouldn't spend the extra money
Gotcha.
on, it's $300 a gallon for anti-graffiti coating. It's not worth your investment because then you have the special chemicals to take it off.
Thanks.
Yeah, the graffiti is the only problem I have. People love graffitiing dugouts.
So let's just say we'll paint them green as they currently are.
Whatever. Yeah. Ms. Vaccaro?
I'm fine with the green that they currently are. I do want to see the nets up, but it sounds like everything's in line to do so. So if we're following the request to get all the permitting in place and we're in motion to get everything done in the proper order, then I think we're good to go, and definitely not worth the anti-graffiti paint. Don't do that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mayor. Mayor DeBaptiste.
Is this working? Okay. So have you had graffiti there before?
Not that I'm aware of that.
Okay. So there has not been graffiti over the wood, correct?
There's been, during COVID, I spray painted X's for social distancing. That's the only graffiti I'm aware of.
Okay. So I just didn't understand the nature of the question about graffiti. But again, I'd like to see the nets up. So hopefully the nets will get up there before you come back requesting permission for it to move forward. Because the nets, everyone's gung ho over new dugouts, and certainly you need them. And we even suggested that you do it all at one time, but the netting is definitely needed because you're talking about attracting more people, upgrading your facilities, and everything else. So the netting is needed for that parking, so that parking can be utilized in that huge parking lot that you have. So that is my point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Kirowski, what are you doing? Okay, great. All right, that's a 3-0 to proceed with getting your permitting for the dugouts.
And just so you know, too, any of the field use, we call them FUA, a facility usage agreement, that's got to come through the Parks and Rec Department, and that won't be approved until the next up. So I'll be on top, and I'll be in communications with Cooper the entire time to make sure that we are following our guidelines from the borough to them to specify that, hey, no one gets on the field until the nets are up.
So,
And just a side note, Charlie, did you guys ever park on the grass?
yes,
The
they
last
did.
50 some years before our meeting in
And
July.
because council gave you temporary
Yes.
permission and you guys are going to fix the ruts and the seeding and all that stuff after the season was over. Do you remember that
Yeah,
conversation?
there was no noticeable ruts or damage due to our.
Okay,
property.
great. Okay.
Other business,
Yes.
just a heads up, our not netting, fencing over there needs a little bit of maintenance. I'm meeting with the contractor on Thursday to clean things up as per our agreement. It's our responsibility.
Very
When you
good.
bring that to council to make those repairs. Thank you. Well, that's
Thank
my- thanks,
you.
Guys.
Thank you. Ms. Vaquero, Mr. Travis. Any other business?
Just the minutes.
Yeah, I got that ready. A motion to approve the December 2023 Public Works minutes. 2-0. It's good. 3-0. 3-0. Thank you. Thank you. The meeting's adjourned.